So this is something that people have been saying for some time now, which is that Genshin Impact is dying. In large part, it's because some content creators have gotten bored with the game and have finished all the content. So there's really no longer anything for them to do, and that's basically the gist of it. Maybe they've grown bored of the game, maybe they just don't enjoy it anymore. Whatever the reason, a large part of why people say Genshin Impact is dying is because they have finished all of the content. There is a limited amount of content in Genshin Impact, so once you've finished it, what exactly are you supposed to do? Are you just supposed to just farm mats for every single day for the rest of your streaming career until the next patch? Um, that doesn't sound very good, does it? So when people talk about Genshin Impact dying, you have to look at it from the perspective of a content creator because those are the people who convey that to you through the YouTube videos or Twitch or Twitter or whatever it is that they use for community communication. There are probably still people saying that Genshin Impact is dying in, just popular online forums like Reddit, but the reality is it really isn't dying. If you look at Google Trends and just type in Genshin Impact, let's see. There was a large spike when it first revealed and first launched. So yeah, it was pretty popular. Not just in Canada, okay, that's where I live, but worldwide, it's pretty damn popular. And it's still going up, right? It coincides with the Inazuma reveal and the Inazuma launch patch 2.0, and it went down a bit after that, but it went up again with Ride and Banner. And if you compare it to, let's say, Fortnite, a super popular multiplayer online game, it is actually more searched in terms of just overall searches compared to like Fortnite. It's actually comparable to Fortnite now, which is crazy to be honest. So the most popular it is in South Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore. Not surprising. It's a very Asian-inspired game. Inazuma and Liu are both based on East Asian countries. Mondstadt is based on Europe, but in terms of style, as a gacha game and as a mobile game, it is more popular in Asia. So that's not surprising. Let's see, what else should we compare to? World of Warcraft. It's been on decline for some time, but it's still a fairly popular game, right? Let's see. Yeah, World of Warcraft doesn't even compare anymore. It's the yellow line. It's just not doing very well now. Okay, what about Final Fantasy 14? It's also around the same level of popularity. So if Genshin Impact is dying, it's always relative, okay? So even in a relatively unpopular state where you see this drop off right after launch and where there was relatively little content, it was still along the same lines of popularity as World of Warcraft. So it was never like truly dying. It was just in a lull of content. And once the content released, then it went up again. And you can see that with the Ride and Banner, it went up even more. So Genshin Impact dying, not so much. Okay, so why not Minecraft? Yeah, Minecraft, it's behemoth. Yep. So even at its height, Genshin Impact almost rivaled Minecraft in popularity. And despite the fact that Minecraft was declining, it did rise a little bit here. So yeah, Genshin Impact still not rivaling Minecraft anywhere near the level of popularity Minecraft has. But, that's how it goes. And if you look at the top apps in United States for iOS, Genshin Impact is number 7. So right below Disney Plus and right above Pokemon Go. It probably won't stay there because we're in a time when Genshin Impact is, getting content and the Ride and Banner is super popular. So yeah, it's probably making big bucks right now. And after that, it'll probably go down a bit, maybe to like number 12 or 13. For Android Google Apps, it's in number 93. This is App Brain, so maybe it's not the most accurate thing, but it is what it is. And Genshin Impact is number 93. So Genshin Impact is not dying, not by any stretch of the imagination. Not unless China like literally says you cannot operate anymore. Unless that happens, Genshin Impact is not dying. What I am concerned about is if it can maintain its relevance. And I think that's what most people are thinking about when they talk about Genshin Impact dying, which is that there are some concerns with how it's developing. One of the main concerns is tech debt. In the recent patch, there has been a big spike in lag. At least there are content creators complaining about lag now. I would like to say I have personally experienced this, but I'm afraid that it's just like confirmation bias. I do feel like it's gotten laggier, but I didn't put it down tech issue at the time. So now that people are saying that it is laggy, then maybe it is. Maybe I'm not just imagining things. It's also a mobile game, so there's storage problems. It can't get too big, and we still have so many regions to go. We still have Sumeru, we still have Fontaine, Natlan, Snezhnaya, not to mention Conria and Celestia. So that's a lot of content, and that's going to increase the file size of Genshin Impact dramatically. I can't imagine it being any less than twice as big it is right now, unless they somehow crunch the data to unimaginably small sizes and just like shrink it down dramatically. Maybe they'll make the assets right now smaller, but that would be pretty bad. So storage is a problem. And in terms of future content, I also can't imagine it being as popular as it is right now because Inazuma is based on Japan and Liyue is based on China. And those two are the biggest audiences of Genshin Impact. They are by far the biggest spenders. I think China made like 300 something million dollars for MiHoYo in the last quarter, and Japan was like 200 something million, while America in a distant third was like 100 million. So the most popular regions are probably already finished. We've already gotten to them. The next region, Sumeru, is based on the Middle East, and while I do know that some Middle Easterners do like enjoy Genshin Impact, it's nowhere on the same level as East Asia or America. Because let's be honest, it's not like it doesn't have the demographics as well as the economy to support this kind of like spending habit. They do have a few big spenders, but it's not going to be on the scale of China or Japan. Sumeru, Fontaine, Natlan, Snezhnaya, they're all based on regions that you would typically not associate with, gacha games. They're based on the Middle East, France, Native America, Russia, that type of place. Yeah, so in terms of future content, it remains to be seen how popular they will be. Personally, I'm not too excited for Fontaine. I'm not a big steampunk kind of person. I am interested in what Natlan brings to the table because apparently it's based on Native America, and we don't really have too much content in terms of that type of setting. So that'll be neat to see. Snezhnaya too, I'll be interested to see how they differentiate it from Dragonspine because they're both ice regions, right? And I do know that they have ways to make two different ice regions, well, differentiated, but I still haven't seen it. We have no idea what Snezhnaya looks like until we actually see some concept art. There's also problems with stale meta. We apparently were going to get a buffed Electro in this patch, which would make sense because, we're in the Electro region. Inazuma is where the Electro Archon resides. So we should have gotten a buffed Electro, and maybe they did, but it wasn't enough to make it relevant for the meta. Pyro and Cryo Anemo, they're still the strongest. The meta has not changed drastically. Geo is good for shields. Ningguang is good for like, I don't know, for some crit damage builds, but generally speaking, Pyro, Cryo, some Hydro, because Hydro is not it doesn't have a big pool of characters to really test things out on. It's basically just Tartaglia and Xingqiu. Those two make up like the vast majority of Hydro builds. So there's really not too much to go on there, and we still don't have Dendro either. And it's hard to imagine what Dendro is going to bring to the table because we have no idea what Dendro even is right now. What elemental reactions we'll have, what kind of meta will create, what kind of like playstyles will Dendro make. I'm kind of suspecting that it will just be another like structure oriented element just like Geo, where you'll have structures constructed and maybe you can make it have elemental reactions with other elements such as Pyro or Cryo, maybe even. Mostly Pyro, because I can't imagine like Electro having elemental reactions with Dendro. So make of that what you will. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Um, in terms of future content, there's also like problems of power creep or lack of power creep. It's kind of like a two-sided blade because no matter which way you go, people will not be happy. If you make it power creep, then as we see, it makes the game kind of boring because you have John Lee who is just it just makes the game completely at least to me it makes it kind of irrelevant because you don't have to care about the damage mechanics unless it's true damage or some kind of internal damage meter such as Bale Thunder or I don't know, the Cryos thing in Dragon Spine. Unless it's one of those two things, such as you see in Signora's boss fight, there's really no way you can make John Lee less relevant because John Lee just makes damage mechanics not as fun to play with. You just ignore it. So they could make healing and shields healing more relevant by increasing true damage, but I've also seen Reddit comments that say that true damage, in terms of like internal damage that just bypasses shields, kind of annoying. So it makes it more annoying, but also it makes healing more relevant. But you can also just do more damage and kill the boss fast enough that you don't have to care about healing. So, which is the case with Signora. So what does it even matter? They have so far failed to make healing relevant. Barbara, and all the other healing builds, Chi-Chi is just not in a good place right now. They're not relevant to the current meta, and as far as I can see, they won't be for quite a while. Even considering the leaks I've read, I have a hard time believing that Hydro healing builds will be relevant. And if they don't make characters stronger, are people still going to be excited for characters? Because the vast majority of Genshin content, or at least in terms of the content that content creators create, is for characters. And I'm going to be so pissed off if all the future content is just whining, or at least trying to get people to whine less about characters that aren't as good as they think they will be. For example, Bao, who is an excellent support character, but at the same time, people are complaining that she's not the DPS like god that people thought she would be. So I don't know. Are you excited for new characters simply based on their aesthetics, or do you require them to be DPS gods? What is MTash going to do if no character is ever as good as Ganyu anymore? Yeah. Or how many builds can there realistically be? So there are a lot of concerns with the future of Genshin Impact, in my opinion. But at the same time, I am hopeful that it will remain relevant. Genshin Impact is still a good game. I'm still excited for the story. Yeah. So tell me what you think in the comments section. If you enjoyed the vid, like and subscribe. If you didn't, then like and subscribe anyways.